Welcome, everybody, to the Building Aaronsburg podcast. I'm Thomas Aaronsburg,
And I'm Catherine Aaronsburg.
and this is our Christmas episode.
Christmas is here. I will be embracing the crackers of the British tradition at our Christmas this year for the first time.
Yeah.
So excited about that.
A new tradition begins.
If you guys don't know what crackers are, they are these tubes. It almost looks like my mom used to wrap presents like this. She would get old toilet paper tubes and shove gifts like underwear and all kinds of stuff in there and then twist the ends. Anyway, in England, they put one on everybody's dinner plate at Christmas dinner, and you pull it apart and it cracks like a little firecracker. It makes a pop, and then inside there is a tissue paper crown that you wear at dinner. There's a dad joke in there, like a really dumb, you love a dad joke.
Jokes.
And then there's a toy. And the toys are always real cheap toys. They're like the things you can buy from the dollar store for 20 of them for $1. They'll shove one of those in each one of the crackers. But I am like semi-homemaking mine. I bought mine from TJ Maxx for cheap, and then I opened them up and kept, the crown and all the stuff that goes in there, the joke, and then put my own little gift in there to customize them for everybody. But anyway, I'm excited to start a new tradition.
Yeah.
Which I think is part of what we're going to talk about today.
It is. That's one of the things. But before we get to the actual Christmas traditions, we're going to talk about the construction plan that we have for Christmas break.
Oh, yeah. We can't let a break go by without doing something to improve our house.
Right. And this Christmas break, we will be doing the floors throughout the downstairs. We've already done the upstairs.
Let's clarify about the fact that these are the plans that we think we're going to get done. Have we ordered paint? Have we ordered the epoxy for the floors? Nope. I have other things on a list that could possibly get done. So we say all these things are going to get done, and sometimes
and
they
aren't.
There's
a lot of prep that actually goes into that
that hasn't started
yet.
I will admit that doing some sort of construction project as Christmas is approaching or afterward is pretty dumb.
It's ambitious to say.
Ambitious is one way to put it. Yeah, I'm so stressed with buying gifts for so many family members. We have 4 kids. Our kids are each side of the family, one of 12 cousins, and then Thomas and I have 5 and 6 siblings each. So, and then parents on each side. So Christmas, even just for immediate cousins, aunts, uncles, is gigantic.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The actual gathering itself is probably most likely definitely going to change this year because of 2020 and COVID and all that, but it doesn't change the fact that it still feels overwhelming to, I have a business, so I'm buying stuff, sending out cards for clients and all that, just like all of the things that have to happen and function before the end of the year.
So with that, we'll take our first break, and when we come back, we'll talk about some more of our Christmas traditions. Welcome back to the Building Aaronsburg podcast. This is our Christmas episode, and we were just getting into talking about some of the family traditions that we have. We both come from very large families.
I think namely how we distribute gifts to 4 children and how we decide how many and what we're getting them.
Yes.
And then how we give other people ideas, because everybody wants an idea for what our kids want for Christmas. I would say no less than 15 people. Well, not just
what people want, like for our children, but also people are always asking, what does Catherine want?
Yeah.
What does so-and-so want? I don't know.
So
I have a hard enough time myself thinking of gifts for somebody that when someone asks me, what do you think this person wants? I don't even know.
Right. So the first thing I always do is have the kids write a list.
Right, which they will make several lists.
Oh, and
there will be edits.
There's revisions. Edits. We try to give them options at the beginning. So, okay, back to the list. I have them all write a list, for better or for worse, first revision or 10th. And then we start to categorize those things a little bit for ourselves, because the way that we gift to our own children is in 4 categories: want, need, wear, and read. So want is usually a Santa gift. That's usually the one that's unwrapped under the tree the morning of Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Need is something that they need. I mean, it could be the interesting thing for me anyway is shopping is that wear and need and want, those can all be interchangeable categories.
Right.
You know, like we have a 12-year-old daughter now. All she wants is clothes and earrings and makeup
Right.
and
Yeah.
nails
Earrings
and things
could
like
be
that.
a want or a wear
Yeah, or a need.
or a need.
It could be any of those things.
Right.
And so a lot of the category, I like that 3 out of the 4 categories can meld together. So maybe all she gets for Christmas is clothes. If that's where she is in her life, that's fine.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they get a book of some sort. Now, there's been years where, because we don't have 4 avid readers in our family.
No, we don't.
So there's been years in the past that we've gotten books on how to do hair styles and things like that.
Yes.
And that went over great. But it's still a book. So you
Right.
still stay within the categories. It makes it easier to know that you're even on the number of gifts you're getting kids, that you limit the number that you get them, because it's so easy to go overboard with gift giving.
Right. And then you run into a situation where you have 6 gifts for one child and you only have 3 for the other, and now you're feeling like, well, I need to buy 3 more, and
Yeah, you start to even it out, but you even it out to the larger number every time.
Right.
And then each kid ends up with 15 gifts. And then with our family being as large as it is, they just get too much stuff.
Yeah, I think
it's
that's
too
really
much.
that was probably really the catalyst behind us doing it that way. Was the first 3 or 4 years that we had them and we were doing Christmas, they would get gifts from us, they would get gifts from my parents, your parents, aunts and uncles, and before you knew it,
It felt like
each
we were
kid
subbing out their
had
room.
20 gifts. I
Yeah.
mean, it could be clothes, it could be toys, it could be whatever, but yeah, I mean, you were pretty much, you could empty out their toy room and just replenish it
Yeah.
with all the gifts that they got at Christmas.
It just got to be too much. So besides the categories that we provide to them from their gift list or things that we think that they need that they haven't even thought of, then we'll distribute the rest of the list to the rest of the family. There's a lot of need-based Christmas stuff that happens. I feel like for me, Christmas turns into like, oh my gosh, he's grown out of his shoes. You've seen the meme where it's like a kid needs a new toothbrush in October and you're like, Christmas is coming. That's how I roll. I'm like, can you wait 2 more months for a new toothbrush?
No, the toothbrush is like, we'll go to the dentist and you're going to get a new
Yeah.
toothbrush. So
It just feels
hang
like
on.
it just feels like Christmas is the time where like we really pack on the things that we probably have needed since August,
Yeah.
but it's like, oh, can we just hold on till Christmas?
Well, it's funny. We had our first cold spell here, and the kids are walking out the door, and one of them didn't have what appeared to be a warm enough jacket, and you're like, come over here. I got something for you.
Let me go get the Christmas stash. I had already bought a bunch of stuff because I knew they needed it for Christmas. But if they really need it, and we're in Mobile, Alabama, and so you don't know if it's going to be 85 degrees until Christmas Day. It could be 90 degrees outside. We don't
Yes.
know. But at some point, it's going to get cold, and you're going to need a jacket. And so I was kind of hoping that we could make it till opening a Christmas gift for him to wear a jacket, but we didn't. He had to go to school on a cold day,
Yeah.
and he didn't. I just got rid of his puffer coat because the zipper was broken or something, and it's the first cold snap. And so I had to pull out the Christmas gift. So his brother's going to get a matching one for Christmas because he hasn't needed it yet. He had a jacket
Yeah,
to
his
use.
already worked out. Although his was kind of small too. Like the sleeves were.
This is what always happens though. The first so our kids go to a private school and so they wear a uniform every day. But man, that first cold snap where they have out of uniform in fall, it's like high water. They're all waiting for floods
Yeah.
because they all grew during
Since the last time it was cold.
since a year. I mean, it's been a year.
Yeah.
So they've grown. And so they all need new pants. They all need new coats. So Christmas is coming, guys.
Yeah. Just hang
If you
on.
can just wait.
Just bundle up. Throw an extra t-shirt on. You'll be fine. One of the things that we also have started doing, we haven't really started doing it yet, but we've talked about doing it, was instead of buying gifts like toys and clothes, giving a gift of an experience.
Oh gosh, so much better. Or anything that's usable and not disposable, but that you can use up. I used to give kids silly string for their birthdays because it was like you spray it out of the can, it's done,
Right.
over with.
You also give like ice cream gift cards
Yeah,
as birthday presents.
because let's be honest, you're not going to give a kid like $5 on a gift card. You're going to give them like 10 or 15, and then the whole family can enjoy your
Yes.
gift.
especially at the ice cream shop around here. It's really, really cheap. You can
affordable.
take the whole family on $10.
It's so great.
But we've talked about doing that this year.
Yeah.
And we've
already
tossed around some ideas.
Yeah. I've already made a purchase. We won't talk about it.
That's going to be an experience, though. It's
Mhm.
not going to be a toy that's going to sit up in a closet somewhere.
Yeah, and the
when they're done playing.
experience we've already talked about it and already decided that the experience is going to be, I've bought the tickets, we're going together, we'll eat at the place. Typically, let's get back to budgeting. You guys want to talk about some budgets?
Yeah.
Normally, the way I would roll is we would have gotten a discount ticket to the place,
Mhm.
wherever we're going, the experience, and then Mama would have packed a cooler that we would drag out of the car and some drinks, some cold drinks, and eat outside and then
Yep.
go back in. Like, we're not eating there, right? But if it's an experience and you get it for Christmas, you get the whole deal.
Yeah.
So you get to go in to the park or wherever, whatever we're doing, and then we eat there and we have the whole day and it's a whole experience instead of kind of doing it the way we normally do it.
The way we normally vacation.
Yeah.
And other things.
That'll have to be a subject on another day, how we vacation, which is insane, the way we vacation, or family trip, as they say. Because, anyway, we talk so much about budgets on this show, but we don't really keep a budget for Christmas gifts. I kind of have a idea in my head of what I want to spend when we do the adult exchange. So out of my siblings don't exchange gifts at all. We just give gifts to my mom and dad and then to the kids. And we pick those names too, which I don't think we've picked this year yet. We probably should do that.
On your family side?
Yeah. But then on your family side, the adults do give each other gifts. And I try to keep like a $40 or $50 amount there, expenditure for each person there.
And again, because we are so cheap, I don't know if cheap's really the right word. We like to get the most bang for our buck. So, there is a little bit of a challenge.
There are way tighter people in this world. Way.
Oh yeah, for sure.
People look
For
at us
sure.
and think we're tight. You guys, y'all don't know what
Yeah.
tight is.
Yeah.
I've lived with tight. Okay, we need to play the game of how tight are you? If you're driving down a hill and put the car in neutral and let off the gas to save money on your tank of gas,
I've done that.
you're tight. How old were you when you did that?
Though. We also had a standard transmission in that vehicle. It's like that was standard protocol. When you're driving a stick,
That's
you get to
fine.
a hill.
No, I'm
that thing's
talking
going
about
neutral.
I'm talking about a modern day
Automatic
transmission.
Slapping that neutral.
Yeah.
I don't even know that.
Oh my gosh.
I did that recently, but it was more like I thought I heard a car noise. Let me put it in neutral and see if it's a drive noise or a wheel noise. And
I'm not talking about that.
you're talking about
Saving
yes.
money on gas efficiency.
I haven't done that since we've had the.
I want y'all to send us those. Send us your penny pincher stories.
Yeah, we're not that crazy. I think for us, it's more of a challenge than anything else. I don't think it's a.
I don't know that it's a challenge for me. I think it's just in my DNA that I refuse to buy anything without some sort of coupon to go along with it, or at least look up a coupon. There's got to be a coupon.
Yeah, but I think there's also, I don't know, maybe it's just me because I'm a very competitive person, but I like to know that I got the best deal.
Yeah, that's not
or
me.
that,
I just equate
it's
it.
$20 here. I found it for $15.
I just equate
or
that
whatever.
with that's $5 that I could spend on something else
Yeah.
or save to put into another project.
So when it comes to buying the Christmas gifts, though, if you have a $50 rough limit on what you're going to buy, do you look for $70 items that you can get for $50?
Heck yes, I do.
Or $100 items that you can get for $50?
Heck yes, I do. Because I want that person to open that gift and be like, "Oh my gosh, she spent $100." No, ma'am, I did not. No, I didn't.
It was $50.
But
Open box,
everyone
that's
knows me
fine.
so well at this point. They're like, "We know how much there's no way Catherine spent $100 on this. No way." In fact, in your family, I remember a time when people wished that they got me because they knew that I could find
Yeah, they were
more
going to
expensive stuff for cheaper. I want Catherine to draw me because I can get that $100 perfume that I wanted that no one else will buy me because it's $100, but Catherine found it for $50.
Yeah.
Wherever. So it's a blessing and a curse. Some people think that that's crazy, but the way I look at it is we're able to then afford vacations if we want to go on them. Like we don't have to save for 2 years to go on a vacation.
Right. Yeah.
We might not want
Do
to
you
go on a
think that
vacation.
you think you're making more work for yourself? I mean,
I think at this point it's so in my DNA that it's more anxiety for me to not do it.
okay. Well, and you
You'd rather spend the
probably,
money?
because you've been doing it, you probably know immediately when you see something that's on sale and you know that, no, that really is on sale. Because you know how sometimes retailers will say, on sale.
Mark it up to mark it down, baby.
Yeah, that's all they've done. Exactly.
Sometimes I do. I've gotten screwed a couple times, I think. Especially the more I'm working and the less time I really have to shop
To look
around.
stuff up. Yeah.
I mean, my method used to be I would go to Dirt Cheap, which is a store here that's evolved over time. But basically, they buy buyouts of Target, mostly Target merchandise in big box stores and things like that. And it's on this big discounted rate, and you go in. Anyway, I used to pop into those places so many times a week that I would find all kinds of stuff, and
yeah.
I would bring it home and save it for Christmas. It wasn't like, oh, I'm out looking for this specific thing. That's
Right.
how you really save
That's
the
where you
most.
find it. Yeah.
That's how you
That's
find the
true.
best deals is when you're in a lot of places all the time and you're not looking for anything specific. That's when you find a deal, because that's when you find the weighted blanket for $20 when they're $150 on the website.
Right.
But you're like, I'm not looking for a weighted blanket, but they got them for $20. I'm going to get 3 of them and save them because everybody wants a weighted blanket right now.
And you'll figure out who you're going to give it to later.
That's when you find the deals, and that's when
Yeah.
you really save the money.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I don't think I am not programmed to do that. But again, I don't do any shopping. I mean,
Yeah.
if I'm going shopping, it's because I have a grocery list and I have to go to the store and get
Which that always turns
X,
out
Y,
rough.
and Z, and I end up getting A, B, and C.
S. Always S. But yeah, I mean, but you've always worked a 9 to 5. Well, not really, but close enough. Not in the summer, but yeah, you're just not a shopper. And honestly, I hate shopping. It's not my favorite
No, but
thing.
you like popping into those stores for whatever reason. I think you just
because I love a deal.
the thrill of the hunt.
I do. The thrill of the hunt. But what's interesting is that I've gotten to the point now to where just because it's a deal, I don't buy it. You know, that it's such a balance. All these things are such a balance because I do know people.
It's not a deal if you don't need it.
That is, Grandpa, you knew what you were talking about.
Yes.
Actually, that may have been Grandma that said that.
I don't know. I know Grandpa used to say it. I don't know if he got it from her.
Yeah.
Or if he just.
It was one of them. But that's so true. Guys, keep that in mind. It is not a deal unless you need it. So true. It's a waste of money if you're never going to use it and if it's going to sit in the closet.
Well, unless it's, that you're buying it to be a gift someday.
Yes.
In the next year or whenever. I mean, I don't know what your thought process was on that. If you bought something, were you going to give it away soon or?
It depends. I mean, if it's September, Christmas is coming soon. Before you know it, like I would love to start shopping for Christmas in October and November.
Right.
So, yes, absolutely. And you're close enough. September is close enough to where you feel like you
can hang on to it.
I feel like I still know it's still in enough to where you feel like you haven't like you can't buy something in January for Christmas of the following year and think that the kid's still going to be into it by the next year.
Right. That's true. That's true.
There's like a time range. It's a delicate balance. This shopping thing is a real delicate balance.
And I know nothing of it, so that's why you're here. That's why you're on this podcast.
I'm so glad that's why I'm here.
All right, so let's take a break, and when we come back, we will field a question from one of our listeners.
That's my favorite part.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Christmas episode of Building Aaronsburg, and we are going to take a question from one of our listeners.
So one of our listeners has asked, when do you know that you have found the right house, or when should you walk away?
It's a really good question.
What do you think
blindsiding me.
It was a secret question.
Well, because I thought it was going to be Christmas oriented.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's fine.
I chose one that was not. We might have different opinions on this.
Yes, I think we will.
Ooh, this should be a segment of you versus me. See if we got different. Instead of going back and forth on it, let's see what you got, and then I'm going to give you what I got. Go for it.
Okay, so I think you have to prioritize what are the most important things to you. And for me, the most important things, number one, is neighborhood, like the part of town you live in. It's like before you even look at the house, I don't care how big it is, how small it is, what the amenities are, where actually is the house? And not just where, like what part of town.
Location, location, location.
Yeah, but like are you on a busy street? Even if you're in a good part of town, if you're on Spring Hill Avenue, but you're in the nice part of Spring Hill Avenue, but you're on Spring Hill Avenue, we have a dog, we have
Well,
4
for you,
kids.
yeah, it's
That's not
situational.
right. That's not ideal for us. So to me, yes, location, not just in what part of town, but actually like physically, are you on the street? How far set off the street is your house? Um, are you close to your neighbors? Before you even look anything about the house, all of those markers to me are like the number one markers. And that's going to be different, obviously, for everybody. Some people don't care about being on the street or on a busy street
Or
or
on a
tucked away in
corner.
a neighborhood or in a
Yeah.
cul-de-sac or whatever. But that's, to me, that's the first thing. And then the second thing to me is it something that structurally fits what you're looking for? Like, is it going to be something that's going to require a lot of work and you don't want to do work or don't have the money to do the work? Or you do want something like that because it's cheaper or whatever? Or is it something move-in ready and because you need a move-in ready kind of thing? Everything after that, to me, is just kind of like icing on a cake. I mean, it's going to make things look pretty.
I'm noticing you're
But
not putting any emotion into any of it. There's none. There's zero emotion, which I
okay,
appreciate.
yes.
I
What?
don't purchase houses, but well, we purchase houses together, but obviously,
Let me before you give your answer.
uh,
I don't know if you remember this, but before we bought this house, we had looked at 3 or 4 houses,
mm-hmm.
counting this one, and I'd made like this spreadsheet. I still have it. It's an Excel spreadsheet, and you know how I love an Excel spreadsheet with some formulas.
It's your favorite thing.
Anyway, I had made this
He did it
formula.
when we bought a new car too.
Yeah, but this one had, like, I asked you on a scale of 1 to 10 how important these factors are, and then I like assigned a weight to each thing,
Ooh, we need to go back
and
and
then
see
we
if
graded
those.
them. I have it. I mean, I'll have to dig it out of my file somewhere, and it would score. It gave the house a score.
Ooh, I think at that time I told you should sell this program. Anyway, to like real estate agents.
Well,
He's so smart. Okay, so what did it say about this house?
I don't remember. I remember.
Well, why'd you tell me all that
Here's what I
for?
do remember. I remember it scored really high, but I was like, God, I don't want to live in West Mobile.
Yeah.
And so I went back and I changed some of the weights for me. And it was still, I
What
think
a
it was still the
doofus.
second house on the list. But when I first did it, it was the first house, and it was the first house by a
A
pretty
long shot.
large
Yeah, I remember
margin.
that.
And then I went back and redid it because I was like, I don't live in West Mobile. I need to change this formula a little bit.
Basically, this house was perfect for us, except for it was a 25-minute drive from everything we did previously. Basically,
Right.
our whole, not that we don't have a social life. We don't really do anything social, but the kids' school, your work, I can work from anywhere. At the time I was working from home, I just got an office for myself. So
Right.
all that time I'd work from home so I could work from anywhere. And you guys were now going to be 25 minutes away from your everything, your everyday, all day.
When we were 2 minutes away.
You had previously been a quarter of a mile away.
Right.
So, yeah, talk about a big change. But the house itself was perfect.
Everything else was, I mean, it was hands down, it was supposed to be this house. And I didn't like it, so I changed the formula. And then another house was kind of in contention, but it was just out of the price range, really, when it came down to
Did
it.
you make this same Excel spreadsheet with girlfriends? How did I score? Did you change numbers?
No, I did not.
Anyway, okay, can I give my answer now?
I guess. Go ahead. See what you got.
Well, I was going to take a different approach to it all. I was going to say, I think a lot of people buying a house is stressful.
Yeah.
It's extremely stressful, especially if you're not super savvy or if it's your first time. And I think a lot of people tend to get exhausted with the process, especially right now when the market is super in favor of sellers.
Yes.
It's a seller's market right now,
Yes, it is.
at least where we live. And so you put a house in the market, and if it's any good, it's got multiple offers within a very short period of time. And if you're a person who's made an offer on several different houses, you get tired, and then you start making offers on houses that you don't really love, but you're like, I need a house, and I just want to move somewhere.
Yeah.
And that is when bad things happen. You just get the house that's not right for you because you're just tired. And sometimes not getting the house that you want just has to turn into, well, maybe it's not right now. Let's keep looking. And I have to say that we have always, well,
Been
not
willing to just go on to the next one. Kinda.
Yeah. I shouldn't say always because we bought so many dang houses and put offers on so many houses and stuff. But I don't know that we have ever been in the position of wanting a house so bad that we either let the price get away from us because we were willing to keep multiple offer on top of other people,
Right.
or made an offer on 3 different houses and they all got sold out from under us, and so the fourth one was just like, ugh, I'm just tired of doing this. Let's
Right.
just buy whatever house comes along.
Yeah.
So I guess in a way that's not answering the question of how do you know that that's the right one for you, but I know that that's how you know it's not that is the wrong one for you.
Yes. I agree. I mean, I think that's important to know too. I mean, along with knowing what is the right way, to know the markers for the wrong way.
I think it's knowing yourself and giving yourself a self check during a process that is soul sucking, possibly,
Yes.
and energy sucking, and possibly you're doing it with another person who's contributing their opinions to what should be happening. It's just an exhausting, it doesn't always have to be an exhausting process. We've been through it enough times, and I think all of them were not the greatest experiences. Something crazy happened in every circumstance.
With the exception of probably buying
the first
our
one.
second house.
No, the second house was an estate.
Yeah, but there's no drama behind it other than maybe the circumstances that surrounded it, but the actual process of
it was because we tried to negotiate the house and there was an estate involved and there's like 8 children.
Right. And they all had to agree on it.
They all
or
had to
whatever.
agree and they wouldn't agree. And, it's just always like an emotional back and forth, always buying a house.
But it wasn't like buying this house. I mean, that's kind of an extreme.
Oh,
this house was a whole mess.
That's a mess, for sure.
But I would say anytime you have to buy a house, you're spending a lot of money.
Yes.
You're committing.
Which is stressful.
A lot of time.
Yes.
I mean, mortgages are 15-year mortgage or 30-year mortgage.
You're putting a lot of trust into a real estate agent, an inspector, professionals. If you don't know what you're looking at in a house, you're putting a lot of trust into other people whose motivation is to sell a house to you.
Right.
Their motivation.
They're financially motivated.
To do whatever it takes to get you in that house.
Right. And you just want something that you can live in that's going to be good for you.
And it's not going to break down the first day you get in it.
Right.
And be a total money pit. That's what most people want. All right. That's our episode, our Christmas episode. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
However you say it.
Please, you guys, subscribe to Building Aaronsburg. Give us 5-star review. And visit us on Facebook at Building Aaronsburg. On Instagram, we're Building Aaronsburg.
Or you can email us at buildingaaronsburg@gmail.com.
We'll see y'all next time. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all. It looks like one eye staring at your phone, but the other one was staring over there.
Goodness.
It looked kind of weird.
I was staring off in his face. I was kind of like, where are you going?
You could have just been like, you're doing a great job. Just keep talking. We'll go to a break. Well, let me try another one.
Okay. I'm just going to keep my eyes closed.
just sit there and look pretty. That's all you got to do. The camera's still rolling, so even if you're quiet, the camera's still going to show that.
It can't
whatever that is.
I'm sorry for you editing this week.
Welcome back to the Building Aaronsburg podcast. This is our Christmas episode. And I said Christmas.
Christmas episode.
Christmas. It's been a long day, I guess.